My name is Daniel Reeves. I'm 42 years old, and I've spent most of my adult life building a future I believed was bulletproof. I live just outside Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a former Marine turned electrician. I don't scare easy, but nothing, not even combat, could have prepared me for the kind of betrayal that shattered my world. The day it all came crashing down started like any other. Coffee brewing. Emails buzzing. I was out on a job site when I got a text from my bank. Suspicious activity detected. Please confirm recent wire transfer of $248,000. I stared at it for a full minute, thinking it was a scam, until I logged in and saw our joint savings account gone. $248,000. Everything we had worked for over 16 years. All gone in a single transaction. My first thought was that we'd been hacked, but my stomach twisted when I saw the name attached to the transfer. Aisha Reeves. My wife. The woman I met when I was 25. The same woman who held my hand during my deployment to Iraq. Who once told me, "I'd rather live poor with you than rich without you." Turns out, she changed her mind. I tried calling her. Straight to voicemail. I rushed home, keys shaking in my hand, but the house was eerily silent. No car in the driveway. No note. Just gone. But on the kitchen table, there was a file folder. My name scribbled on top. Inside, a single printed contract. A business proposal for a boutique marketing firm. The second page stopped my heart. Co-founder, Aisha Reeves. Co-founder, Colton Hartley. Colton. A name I hadn't heard in years. Her college friend. The guy she always insisted was like a brother. I never liked him, but I never imagined this. I dropped the folder. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From clarity. From that moment on, something inside me changed. Not rage. Not sadness. Stillness. This wasn't a fight I was going to yell my way through. This was going to be a quiet war. And I was going to win. She thought she destroyed me. But what she really did was wake up the part of me that never, ever loses. We met at a veterans fundraiser in downtown Tempe. Aisha was volunteering, handing out water bottles, and collecting donations with that big, fearless laugh of hers. I'd just returned from my second deployment, still adjusting to civilian life, still haunted by things I couldn't say out loud. But when she smiled at me, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. We started slow. Sunday morning breakfasts, long drives through the desert, late-night talks about nothing and everything. She told me she wanted to open her own business someday. Branding and marketing were her dream. I told her I didn't care what she did, as long as we did it together. We got married a year later. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. She wore her mom's wedding dress, and I remember thinking, this is it. I'm home. We weren't rich, but we built something steady. I ran my own electrical repair company. Small jobs, honest pay, while she took on freelance clients and managed our home like a pro. She was smart, ambitious, and always had a plan for the future. We started saving early, first for a house, then for a family, eventually for her dream business. Every month, we'd sit down and go over our joint account. She'd smile and say, "One day, that number will buy us freedom." And I believed her. Looking back, I see the signs. Little ones. She started working late more often. Said she had client dinners and strategy meetings. She started locking her phone, laughing at texts, and quickly turning the screen over. But love is a kind of blindness we were willingly. I trusted her. I believed in her. I defended her even when my brother joked, "You sure she ain't got another guy in that marketing team of hers?" I laughed it off. You don't know Aisha. Turns out, I didn't either. Still, I can't lie, we had good times. Real ones. We went hiking every spring, traveled to Yosemite, and saw the sunrise from Glacier Point. She cried when I surprised her with our dog Marley on her 35th birthday. We carved pumpkins every Halloween and hosted those ridiculous costume parties for our neighbors. She even nursed me through a back injury when I fell from a client's roof. I thought we were solid, unshakable. She used to call me her anchor. But anchors don't mean much when the ship decides to leave port on its own. The last 6 months, though, things shifted. She started sleeping with her back to me. Her eyes never met mine in the morning. Her business trips got more frequent and shorter. She started wearing perfume she never wore before. Soft, floral, like something from her college days. And then, she stopped calling me babe. No fights. No screaming. Just distance. Silent. Growing. Cold. One night, I reached for her hand in bed, and she flinched. And right then I knew. Something had broken. Still, I never imagined it would break this badly. Not into 1,000 pieces. Not with 2 names on a contract and $248,000 gone. Not with her vanishing without a single goodbye. She used to call me her hero. Then one day, without warning, she stopped. It started with her phone. Aisha used to leave it anywhere, on the kitchen counter, in the bathroom, even in the car sometimes. She was never secretive. But suddenly, it was always on her. Like it was part of her body. She started keeping it face down. And it never made a sound. No buzz, no ding, just quiet. I remember the first night I noticed it. We were sitting on the couch watching some Netflix documentary. She got a text. The screen lit up, just for a second. I saw a name, Eli, and a heart emoji. She picked it up so fast I almost thought I imagined it. But I didn't. Still, I said nothing. I wanted to trust her. I needed to trust her. But that night, I didn't sleep. The next few weeks, the changes grew louder, even though she didn't say a word. She started wearing makeup at odd times. Client Zooms, she claimed. But I saw the way her smile changed when she was messaging someone. She never laughed at my jokes anymore. Just looked through me. Then she asked to separate our accounts, said it would be cleaner for tax season since she was relaunching her brand under a new LLC. She was confident. Too confident. She even had papers drawn up, like she'd been preparing this move for weeks. It didn't feel like a suggestion. It felt like a decision already made. I said fine. But that night, I downloaded an app to track outgoing funds from our joint savings. Not because I didn't trust her, at least, that's what I told myself. But because something inside me had changed. I wasn't her anchor anymore. I was a man stranded at sea, trying to spot a storm before it hit. And then came the weird charges. $1,200 wired to some boutique firm in California, marketing consultation. $800 at a luxury spa. For $1,000 labeled as business branding final deposit. I asked her about them. She said she was building something for us. That I needed to just trust the process. I smiled. But inside, a storm was gathering. Then came the night I'll never forget. It was 2:07 a.m. I remember because I glanced at the clock. I woke up thirsty, went to the kitchen for water, and on my way back, I saw the soft glow from her office down the hall. Her door was cracked. I peeked inside. She was on a video call, wearing that floral perfume, wearing nothing else. And she was laughing. Laughing in a way I hadn't heard in months. I didn't barge in. I didn't scream. I simply walked back to bed. laid down, closed my eyes, and in the darkness I decided, this ends now. But not with yelling, not with fists or rage, with strategy. She thought she was the mastermind. She had no idea who she just betrayed. I stayed silent, but I started watching. And that night, at 2:07 a.m., I stopped being her husband and started being her reckoning. It happened 3 days later. I'd been silent, distant, careful, but alert. I'd started tracking her movements. Quietly, I added a small GPS tile to her keyring, the same one I gave her on our 3rd anniversary. She never noticed. And then I started pulling phone records. Not hers, mine. Our joint plan still showed her call logs. She'd been calling a number in Santa Barbara. Daily. Always at odd hours. I reverse searched it. A design firm. But not just any design firm. It was registered under someone named Eli Morrison. That name again. I checked LinkedIn. He wasn't just a designer, he was a startup branding advisor. The kind that promises luxury and success and executive vibe alignment to women who've been told they can conquer the world in high heels and hashtags. There were photos. Him and Aisha. At some event in Miami. 6 months ago. Arm around her waist. Champagne. Her smiling with her eyes closed, the way she used to smile with me. It hit me like a freight train. Still, I didn't lose control. I called in a favor from a friend in cybersecurity. I won't name him here, but let's just say, there's always someone who owes you a favor. He set up a data trap. A clone device that mirrored everything her phone did. 2 days later, it happened. She was out, meeting a client. I was home. Alone. Waiting. At 7:19 p.m., her phone synced. A PDF came through. It was a wire transfer confirmation, $128,400, from our joint investment account to a business entity titled Alive Ventures. I stared at it for a long time. She hadn't just taken the money. She'd planned it. Named the company after them. Combined their names like some high school couple with matching bracelets. That was it. That was the moment I knew. There was no coming back. No conversation. No therapy. No trust left to restore. Only a mission. But I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't confront her when she got home. I just said, "How was the meeting?" And she said, "Productive." Smiling. That fake, polished, cold smile. The kind you practice before lying in court. I nodded. Kissed her forehead. And that night, I began planning. Not just to leave. Not just to expose. But to end her entire performance. Without a single raised voice. Without a single thrown object. Because revenge tastes better when it's prepared slowly. I didn't cry that night. I started organizing folders. I started making calls. I started preparing for war. The next morning, I woke up before her. She was still asleep, breathing peacefully, as if she hadn't drained every drop of trust from our lives just hours earlier. I stared at her for a moment. Not with hate. Not with love. With clarity. That's when I opened my laptop and started the folder. Operation Rebuild. Inside it, I made subfolders. File folder legal. File folder financial. File folder surveillance. File folder exit plan. I wasn't going to just leave. I was going to dismantle the story she'd built, piece by piece. Step 1. Protect myself financially. I immediately froze the remaining accounts. Quietly, I changed my online banking credentials, turned off paper statements, rerouted emails to a clean address she didn't know existed. She didn't even notice. Then I called the bank and reported potential fraud on the account that got drained. I didn't accuse her yet, just flagged it. It put a 7-day hold on any new business transfers. She would find out, but not before I made my next move. Step 2. Lawyer up. I contacted one of the best family law attorneys in Los Angeles. Someone who'd handled military divorces before. Someone who didn't flinch at betrayal, assets, or psychological warfare. We met at a diner 50 miles away from my city. I laid everything out on the table. The fake business, the funds, the affair, the PDF, the surveillance. He nodded through it all. Then he looked me in the eye and said, "You want justice or blood?" I said, "I want my life back. And I want her to feel what it's like to lose everything she faked." He smiled. We had a plan. Step 3. Gather undeniable proof. I installed hidden cameras in the home, small, discreet, motion sensitive. One in the living room. One in the home office. One in the bedroom. Within a week, I had hours of footage. Phone calls. Conversations. Flirtatious whispers on speaker. Business meetings with him, from our living room. She wasn't even hiding it. She called him, "Babe." Said things like, "We just have to keep the mask on until the papers are signed." They were planning to milk me dry and then move to Miami. Step 4. Turn allies into assets. I reached out to her sister, Sarah. We'd always had a strong relationship, and I knew she disapproved of Eli. At first, Sarah was hesitant. But once I showed her the wire transfer, the texts, the business registration, she switched sides. Quietly, she started forwarding messages, emails, screenshots, even voice notes Aisha sent her. Things like, "Alex is so boring now. Like old and slow. Eli gets me. I just need Alex to go sign one more form. Then we're good." That was the final nail. Step 5. Plan the fallout. My attorney drew up divorce papers fast, with hard evidence attached. Infidelity, financial misconduct, emotional cruelty, hidden assets. We scheduled the service day on her birthday, not to be cruel, but to make sure she'd be home, surrounded by friends and feeling untouchable. It was perfect. And while she texted her friends about brunch reservations, I made one last call. To Eli's fiancée. Yes, he was engaged too. Her name was Natalie. A dental tech in San Diego. They'd been on and off for 4 years. I sent her the full package. Footage. Texts. Business filings. She responded with just 4 words. "He's not coming back." By the time Aisha blew out the candles on her birthday cake, she had no idea that her entire illusion was minutes from crumbling. Not yet. But it was coming. And when it did, there wouldn't be any screaming. No drama. Just a soft knock on the door. A man in a navy suit. And a single line. "Ma'am, you've been served." She thought I'd never fight back. She thought I was too broken to care. But she forgot I've been trained to win wars without ever raising my voice. Her birthday was on a Saturday. Brunch. Balloons. New dress. That fake glow people wear when they think they're winning. She had no clue. At 11:42 a.m., while she laughed with her girlfriends in the kitchen, someone knocked on the front door. She opened it casually, expecting a delivery. Instead, she saw a man in a navy blue blazer holding a brown envelope. "Aisha Monroe?" She blinked. "Yes." He handed her the envelope, nodded once, and walked away. She looked down. Confused. Curious. Then she opened it. And the color left her face like paint washing off in the rain. She didn't cry. Not yet. She tried to play it cool. Pretended it was nothing. Stuffed the envelope into her purse. Kept smiling. But I saw it all, through the camera I'd hidden in the hallway mirror. Later that night, when she confronted me, she tried to sound angry. "Are you seriously doing this? After everything I've done for you?" I didn't yell. Didn't move. I just played the clip. The one where she was on the phone with Eli, laughing about how she'd drain him dry and disappear before the ink was dry. Her voice. Her words. Right there on the speaker. She went silent. Then tried to spin it. Said it was a joke. Said I was paranoid. Said I'd ruined everything. That's when I handed her the printout of the wire transfer. The one she thought I'd never find. 2 weeks later, court day. The courtroom was cold. Stark. She sat on the left. Her new business partner, nowhere to be seen. I sat on the right, calm, collected. My lawyer stood, confident. We had it all. Video footage. Financial records. Witness statements. And screenshots from Eli's fiancée showing their texts, confirming the affair on both sides. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to melt into the floor. The judge asked her one question. "Did you use your husband's savings to fund a business with your romantic partner?" She hesitated for a second too long, then said, "Yes, but it was complicated." The judge didn't blink. The ruling. Full divorce granted. Assets frozen. All remaining shared funds awarded to me. Her business flagged for IRS review. She was ordered to repay a portion as misappropriated marital funds. I was granted exclusive ownership of our house. Oh, and the court granted me a no-contact order. She couldn't come near me for 12 months without legal cause. When we left the courtroom, she tried to speak to me in the hallway. "Alex, please, we can fix this." I just said, "You didn't break my heart. You freed it." Then walked past her. But that wasn't the end. 2 months later, Eli was arrested. Turns out, the business they started had multiple licensing violations and unpaid taxes. Natalie, his ex-fiancée, filed a report. The IRS got involved. The SEC even sniffed around due to fraudulent investment claims. Aisha lost everything, fast. The bank closed her accounts. The business collapsed. And most of her friends? Gone. No one wants to be close to a fire that hot. The last I heard? She moved back in with her parents. No job. No savings. No partner. Just a trail of burned bridges. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post about it. I just breathed. For the first time in years, I felt still. The courtroom went silent. I played the audio file. And everyone heard what she really thought of me. She tried to burn my life down. But in the end, she was the only one left standing in the ashes. The silence after the storm was deafening. After the courtroom battles, the betrayals, the fights, and the heartache, I finally had a moment to breathe. I stood alone in what used to be our home. The walls held memories, some good, some painful. But it wasn't her anymore. It was mine. And in that quiet, I realized something important. She took everything, except my soul. They say betrayal breaks you. But what they don't tell you is, it's what you do after the break that defines you. I started small. Morning runs at dawn. Long walks to clear my mind. Reconnecting with old friends who had been distant. I focused on rebuilding, not just my life, but me. I signed up for classes I'd always wanted to try. Learned to cook my own meals. Even started volunteering at a local veterans center. And slowly, the weight on my chest lifted. Pain doesn't disappear. It becomes a part of your story. A chapter, not the whole book. Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't just see a man who lost his savings or was betrayed by his wife. I see someone who survived. Someone who grew stronger in silence. Someone who chose to rise instead of fall. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this. No matter how dark your nights get, you hold the power to rebuild your dawn. Because revenge isn't just about payback. It's about reclaiming your peace, your happiness, your future. So, if you're watching this and feeling broken, betrayed, or lost, remember, your story isn't over. It's only just beginning. And you have the strength inside you to write the next chapter. Thank you for listening to my story. If you want to hear more stories of survival, strength, and real-life revenge, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because sometimes, the hardest battles bring the brightest victories. Like the video if this story hit you deep. Bell subscribe for more powerful revenge stories every week. Speech Balloon, share your thoughts or story in the comments. We read every one.